I couldn't handle the blinking text, so I went back to the good old line through there for my text decoration on the span that you and I had created in the previous exercise. So you may want to go and change yours back as well, or maybe switch it to one of the other text decoration values that we have. Now, the last exercise that we have here, at least for this section, is the sort of the final thing that I want to show you related to this discussion on basic font formatting, basic text formatting. We've seen how to change the font and the size, and we did some text decoration. Now, what about color? Let's talk about color. Well, what I've decided to do is take this text that I've gone and put a line through, as I can see there in the browser, and I want to change the color of that text also to red. So what I'll do is I'll flip back over to my code, of course, and then I'm going to have to throw in another property into my inline styles. So as always, I'm making sure my cursor is on the right-hand side of the semicolon, throw in a space. Now, throwing in a color is a little bit odd. We've seen text-decoration, we've seen font-family, and font-size. We would think that color would be either text-color or font-color. Well, actually, it's just color. And again, it's American spelling, so watch out for that. So color, and then full colon space, and then I'm going to throw in red, followed by a semicolon, just like that. And that's really all there is to it, to apply a color to your text using CSS. It's super easy. Now, we can get a little bit more involved if we want to throw in more color. For instance, maybe I want to apply a color to my entire first paragraph. Well, of course, I'd have to go and adjust the inline formatting that is controlling the first paragraph. And of course, we know where that is. He's inside the opening paragraph tag. And I'll throw my cursor into that inline formatting at the end there, of course, put in a space and then color, full colon space. And as I was mentioning earlier when we were messing around with colors, you can throw in color names. You could try orange or green or whatever you like. Or we can throw in hexadecimal color values. Here's a hexadecimal color value that we actually saw earlier. I'm going to throw in a number sign or a hash mark. These values are always preceded by a hash mark or a number sign. And I'm going to go 3366FF followed by a semicolon. And if you recall, that was the hexadecimal color code or color value for this sort of mid-blue, I guess you could say. Now, what else can we do? Well, what if we wanted to change the color for all of the text on the page? Well, again, we've seen this a few times already. We saw this with the font, and we saw this with the font size. And of course, it's all happening up inside the opening body tag. So if you want to control the color of all of the text inside your document, we've got to head to the opening body tag and then throw in our color property, just like this. Now, I'm going to try a couple of things here. So I've thrown in my color property. I need a value, though. So I'm going to throw in another hexadecimal color value. So throw in your number sign or your hash mark there. And I'm going to go for sort of a darker gray, I think. Not a pure black, but a darker gray. So I'm going to go 383838, followed by a semicolon. There we go. And then save and refresh. It's more like a charcoal gray. I don't know if you can really see that on my screen. You can definitely see it on your screen, I'm sure. Now we have kind of a charcoal gray rather than pure black, which is kind of nice. Or what we could do is, really we could use any color we wanted, but maybe we want to go with a really light gray. Let me get rid of this hex value here. Try this, B0, 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 something like this. Save it up and then refresh. There we go, something like that. That's a really light gray. You know, you wouldn't want to use this shade of gray for all of the text content inside your page. Probably something like a copyright notice down at the bottom of your page, maybe a date, some minor info, things like that, right? But for the majority of our text, I'm sure we'd want it either black or something fairly dark for readability. So once again, I will leave it up to you to experiment and play around, maybe try out some different colors, type in some different color names. Again, green, orange, yellow, blue, things like that. I'm going to go back to my 383838, which I was actually kind of partial to. There we go. And as a closing note, I want to mention once again that we have the cascading effect of CSS happening here, whether we're aware of it or not. There's a reason why this first paragraph of text appears blue rather than dark gray. And there's a reason why this text here, which has the strike through, appears red even though the rest of the paragraph is being told to be blue, even though the entire document is being told to be dark gray. This is the cascading effect at play inside our browsers. All right, with all of that out of the way, we've talked about some basic text formatting properties that we can use in CSS. We've talked at length about using inline CSS formatting, the pros and cons of using inline formatting. Now I want to speed things up a little bit, move things up, inch things up to the next degree here, and we're going to start working with something called selectors. Let's go and check it out.